He didn't split his pants, he lost them completely. Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker, found the force and it pulling down his slacks as he was trying to give an award in front of his Hollywood peers. Well, what if we told you that this actually has more to do with Rachel Zegler, Disney and Snow White, than you ever would have believed? We'll tell you who is really pantsing who, and we'll do it right now.
It's that films create worlds so vivid and stories so powerful that we lose ourselves in them completely.
And your pants. Hello, folks, and happy hump day. Welcome back to the place that continues to give you the best coverage of entertainment this side of, wherever Somewhere Sunny, USA is located. And located with us today is Culture Casino as well as LW Ghost. Welcome back to you both.
Thank you. Glad to be here, sir.
Gentlemen, we have a very serious topic at hand. Ladies and gentlemen, click the like button and tighten your waistbands because Mark Hamill has lost his pants. Yes, it is the nightmare that you all have dreamed over and over. You know how you wake up in the middle of the night and you remind yourself that, no, you did not lose your pants in front of that entire crowd. No, you did not arrive at work or at school in the buff, as it is. Well, Mark Hamill lived it, folks. He lived it. His entire pants fell off him while he was presenting an award, and yet we're going to go far beyond the dark side. No, not that dark side, a different dark side that Mark Hamill experienced.
Well, they say Hollywood is where dreams become reality, so I guess if that's the dream, he lived it. So.
That's right. He wishes this was CGI. All right, we're going to that Park Place. Marvin Montanaro is the author here. Star Wars actor Mark Hamill loses his pants at BAFTA Award show while presenting in latest humiliation. Now, folks, many of you out there have already seen this. We're going to play it for you, but as we do, just know this is not where we're going to end. We here are going to elevate, unlike Mark Hamill's pants.
So what makes us love cinema so much that we're all gathered here to celebrate tonight? For me, it's that films create worlds so vivid and stories so powerful that we lose ourselves in them completely.
And your pants. That's too beautiful. Play it one more time. Here we go.
For me, it's that films create worlds so vivid and stories so powerful that we lose ourselves in them completely. They create immersive cinematic landscapes that feel alive, whether they're set here in London or anywhere. So
now, he's very lucky. He's very lucky that there's a podium there. Lou, is this the first time that you had seen this?
No, I've seen it last day or so, ever since it happened. We should tell everybody, by the way, for those who don't know, what BAFTA is. That is the British Academy of Film and Television Arts. So it's the Oscars and the Emmys all rolled into one, okay?
It's a big deal, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, it is Britain. They can only afford one award show. So.
Well,
okay. So, Culture, this was embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
I know that. Listen, I know that Mark has taken some very vitriolic and venomous positions in the past, and people want us to get on here and just lambast him and make fun of him. It's not my thing. I'm not into that. This is humiliating. It's kind of like, You think that it could happen, but it'll never happen. It can't happen. Surely it won't happen. Well, it did happen to him, and he handled it about as well as you could. But pity anybody who was behind him, because truly the dark side was there. And I'm not sure what all fell, but lucky the podium was there. Culture,
the dark side of the moon.
The dark side of the moon.
I would suggest he was probably wearing boxers or briefs, so I think everybody was fine. But look, I would not wish this on anybody. This type of like terrifying moment in front of like a theater full of people is very, very bad. And again, what this speaks to is maybe a failure of his suspenders. Possibly, and by the way, on tuxedo pants, they have those internal buckles to like do slide adjustments as you get, a little larger over the course of a lifetime.
Folks, this is where we are on the Pro Channel now. We've become suspender analysis.
I'm just saying.
Coming soon, the Pro Wardrobe Channel.
May the belt be with you.
I'm just going to say that this was a lot less interesting than the Janet Jackson failure. That's all.
Oh, well, we're glad we did not have to find out if pasties were involved. All right, folks, moving from something pasty to something that's not. Here is, out of Deadline, why Mark Hamill was doing this in the first place, not losing his pants, but trying to do something kind. And good for Mark, even though he misses the mark quite often when it comes to politics. Out of Deadline by Jake Cantor. Mark Hamill and Tom Felton laud Warwick Davis as he wins BAFTA Fellowship. Don't let being small stop you from being big. So what Mark Hamill was there to do was to give Warwick Davis a big boost. And if we read down here, we'll read just a little bit. It says, Davis, the British actor who's played various roles in the Star Wars franchise, got a tribute from Luke Skywalker himself as he was garlanded, didn't know you could verb that, with BAFTA's highest honor. He described Davis as one of the hardest working men in show business as he received the Fellowship Prize at the BAFTA Film Awards. And it was a really good lift for Warwick because we've heard that he's had a rough time, maybe some health issues. He has had some losses in his close family. And, we never want that to happen to anybody. We want the best for everyone. And so this was a big moment for Mr. Davis. Let's go to that part place, though, and then I'll hand it back to the panel. It turns out that late last year, Jonas J. Campbell had the opportunity to interview Mr. Davis. And he relayed that he's somewhat unhappy about dwarf actor exclusion in Hollywood, saying that it was a shame. Guys, I want to bring this back to Rachel Zegler and to Snow White for a moment. People like Warwick Davis are getting awards, but they're not getting roles. And we can laugh and we can, guffaw about poor Mark Hamill losing his pants, but it's a bigger deal that people who are of shorter stature are not receiving roles whatsoever in Hollywood anymore. And so, Lou, I want to go to you and just say...
when you say any more,
yes.
Are they getting any more, any less than they ever did?
Well, they're being CGI'd out of the movies.
Oh, well, okay, that's a different story. But you've got to have a story that involves them. You're not going to put him in an NBA story. You're not going to put him in other kinds of stories.
Now that's exclusionary.
Yeah, I suppose. But the NBA closed up at Disney World, so who cares?
So
I'm just saying it is a specialized role, and frankly, most of the parts over the years for people of short stature have been inside costumes, behind masks, and not very visible to begin with. I mean, if you think of everything from all the kids shows and what about Captain EO or any of those? That's just sort of the nature of the beast. You're not going to get the same roles that John Gielgud gets, Well, that's actually Peter Dinklage, I think, is the one that you would have issue with, Lou, because Peter Dinklage seems to want a different world where that's not the case as you're laying it out. Let me read what Mr. Davis had to say when he was interviewed by Jonas J. Campbell. He says, it's interesting. Recently, you're seeing lots of sort of short fictionally characters being played by normal-size actors shrunk digitally. I mean, at first, I sort of excused it, thinking there's not really the pool of talent to draw from, like with Lord of the Rings, for example. So I sort of excused that for happening, but recently, they're doing it more and more. I think it looks scary almost. It's not a good look. And I'd agree with him on that because not everybody's as talented at doing that forced perspective thing as Peter Jackson was.
Absolutely.
So
Davis continued saying it is a shame because there's a lot of really talented short actors in the world, but they're not getting a chance to do what they do. Some of them have been trained for years to do this, and they're just not getting a look. It would be wrong to cast someone as a disabled person in a wheelchair with an able body, I think, but they're doing it all the time with short people. I'm not actively campaigning on this, but it would be very nice if my voice was heard on the issue. So here is where we got some questions in from that part place to Mr. Davis. Culture, I want to go to you, though, and ask, what do you think Hollywood needs to do so that it's not just Mr. Davis and a few others getting awards for a time gone by, but maybe we can start returning to having people cast in roles? I mean, I don't know if you've heard Culture, but Cynthia Erivo is going to play Jesus. It seems to me we're not casting the right people anymore. How do we fix it?
No, I would say we're certainly not doing that at all. And how do we fix it? Well, to go out and actually give people the roles that are written for them. We haven't done this in a long time. I would suggest that there was a recent remake of a classic film, Time Bandits, that was put into a television product, which was disdainful, especially since the people allowed it to progress without the normal casting that would have occurred for something like that, which was chock full of little people, actors and actresses. At that time, it was just actors. But I mean, there are film properties that specifically speak to, little people, and they call for them in the roles, and whether it be in a film like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or whatever remakes were to come about of that, what did they do? They cast one person in one situation and then artificially CGI'd them down to size instead of utilizing the populace of little people. But this happens across the board. This is something that we normally had incorporated into cinema for a very long time, and these people became famous. Warwick Davis is probably one of the last ones that anybody is going to be able to acknowledge in these roles, and he shouldn't be. There are many others out there that have been doing a really great job, and so it's really a shame.
Why did they put him in the 2 sizes too large chair compared to the guy interviewing him?
That's a great question. I think that I think the stage was a multi-use. Maybe they had
maybe
more
so,
than one,
but for him, maybe switch places. Anyway, I just see these things. But the case that comes to my mind, guys, is Figment. Billy Barty did the voice of Figment, but it didn't have to be a small person doing Figment's voice. It could have been anybody.
Sure.
So there's all these kind of weird crossover situations in the history of this stuff. We all, of course, know about the Munchkins and all of those things, but I just don't think. In other words, if there's a reason for it, if there's a character that should be played that way, absolutely. But just to sort of do remakes for the sake of, well, we got to give these guys work, I think sometimes that gets overdone. I just do. And
I'll tell you this too. As we look at Snow White, we're about to find out how this plays out truly, because the inclusion through exclusion, where they didn't allow anybody of shorter stature to play the dwarves, people with dwarfism can't play dwarves. We're going to find out how that CGI thing works, and we're going to see how Rachel Zegler does in the latest 30-second video trailer release for Snow White. It's the final one. Zegler's in it for 7 seconds. 5 of those seconds are 1-second cuts. So they're really confident about that movie.
But when we saw that original so-called leaked footage of the magical beings, the human beings walking across that field in England somewhere, why in the world? It was part of the movie's entire revisionist thing of, well, we're not going to have a prince who they're stalkers anyway, and we're not going to have a girl who's looking for love, and we're not going to have dwarves. We're going to have magical beings that we call them the baristas or whatever. It's like, let's do the opposite for its own sake, and who gets hurt? Well, people like him.
That's right. All right, guys, I think we took this much deeper and way farther than just fallen pants. And that's what people were expecting. That's what other YouTube channels out there are doing. But folks, we know what you want. We know what you clicked it for. Yes, we'll play it one more time.
Or anywhere.
Here we go, folks.
So what makes us love cinema so much that we're all gathered here to celebrate tonight? For me, films create worlds so vivid and stories so powerful that we lose ourselves in them completely. They create immersive cinematic landscapes that feel alive, whether they're set here in London or anywhere.
The fact that he is talking about losing things as his pants are lost.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't want to say that there was too much behind this.
All of us, I mean, maybe he's been on a diet and he hasn't checked the pants lately. I've had that problem of late. I mean, I remember a friend of mine asking me to be in his wedding, and they were going to have all the best man and the bridesmen wear a powder blue Edwardian tuxedo with a cummerbund. And I said, I love you, but on a person of my size, because I'm a fairly large fellow, a cummerbund looks like, as I put it, a cigar band on a knockwurst. No, thank you. So, he's lucky, like you say. Thank God for podiums or podia.
That's right. I never thought about the plural of podiums. Podia. Culture. This is why, of course, you always wear a kilt. Not many people know it, but you are Yep. Full blown kilt. No doubt.
And very comfortable. Very comfortable.
You remember Mel Gibson's famous quote, right?
What's that?
He said when he first did Braveheart, he approached some of the extras that were the real guys in kilts, and he said, "So, all right, tell me the story. What do you wear under the kilt?" And he said, "Your wife's lad." So,
there you go. All right,
So,
folks.
there,
Folks,
you
we
knew I'd
will,
bring it down to that level, didn't you? That's why
Ghost-
you invited me.
Ghost has killed it, ladies and gentlemen. He's killed it. Culture.
And now, today, with it snowing outside here, I'd be kilt with the cold before I was cold with the kilt. So,
it never stops.
yeah.
But well played,
That's
sir.
right, but it's one of my own.
It's one of his. All right, Culture, one of yours is your channel. It is Culture Casino as well as That Game Place. Tell the folks out there where they can find you, sir.
Well, actually, yeah, you may be watching this later than the actual live show, but That Game Place has their live show on Wednesdays at Eastern Time, 3 p.m. So I hope you can join us there if you haven't already. I'm sure you already did. But you can also find me on my own channel. It is growing over 33,000 strong at this point, and I would like you to be one of them. So if you're not already subscribed, in fact, go and double check that and, see what it's all about. I seem to have people that enjoy my videos. Maybe you will as well. So thank you for that, and hope to see you again here real soon.
I try not to miss any of them, but then that's just because I'm into bears. What can I say?
Hey, that's lots of bear stories. That's true.
And folks, we'll remind you, for those of you who have friends who cannot wait for Culture's next video release, always remind them to keep their pants on. It'll be coming anytime soon.
Yeah,
All
right.
right.
Hold
Click
your
the like
horses
button.
and your waistband.
That's
And
Click the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts and keep it clean, folks. Discuss not the dark side of the moon today. All right, until the next time, we have the joy of spending time with you. Keep learning, keep growing, keep having fun, and Spandex can be your friend.
Clickbait, fraud, drama queen. Ugh, I wish there was a channel that was 5 to 6 minute news reads without the drama, frauds, and clickbait that could accurately let me know the current news, providing my crucial context utilizing all the different That Park Place contributors and creators.
Well, stupid. There is. It's the That Park Place YouTube channel, which will be going live real soon, so make sure you're subscribed so you can really stick it to the algorithms.
You're joking.
Nope.